coming. Up in the ring, we have the makings of a great happening. So let's swing right up there and let Boyd Pierce tell us about it.
This event, 2 out of 3 falls with a 1-hour time limit. In the blue corner, Playboy Gary Hart presents from Houston, Texas at 230 pounds, gorgeous Gino Hernandez. At 230 pounds in the red corner from Buffalo, New York, Maniac Mark Lewin. 2 out of 3 falls, your referee Bronco Lubitsch. Playboy Gary Hart will be in a straitjacket held by the referee Bronco Lubitsch.
So up in the ring we have...
Here tonight, know that I am a man of character, and I think we ought to let this Paul Bosch, the promoter, know that you don't want me in a straitjacket, and I don't want myself. So let him know what you want.
Playboy Gary Hart said you people said you did not want him in a straitjacket here this evening.
Gary Hart trying to talk his way out of a straitjacket into which he is about to be placed. I think right now he has lost all of his appeals, and he is about now to don the straitjacket. He doesn't like the idea of being wrapped up in that thing, and you can scarcely blame him. It is not the best way of doing it. Referee Bronco Lubitsch is applying the jacket, tying the strings in the rear, and also about to wrap the arms around so that Gary Hart is where most people think he should have been placed and where he has belonged for a long time. Gary Hart now looking uncomfortably secure, which is something that hasn't happened to him in a long time. He is now going to have to limit his participation in this match to the seat alongside of the ring, where he will be, or at least he will have to limit his participation to the point where he is going to have to not be able to be involved. Gary Hart at ringside. Gary Hart wrapped up tight, but that doesn't mean that Gino Hernandez is wrapped up tight. And in this opportunity to settle things with Maniac Mark Lewin, although I think Mark Lewin is the settler in this instance, we've got Mark Lewin using a side headlock and the hold him and hit him technique as he lays a set of knuckles astride the nose of gorgeous Gino. Lewin watching his opportunity, and he should get an opportunity with Hart out of the way. It's going to be one-on-one. When this pair met recently, Lewin was declared a loser because he went outside the ring and decided that he wanted to put the punishment on Gary Hart, and he did. He got out and clobbered Gary Hart. He was counted outside the ring, but he was happy when the match was over, figuring that he had already earned the satisfaction of pounding his former manager. Side headlock is Lewin's hold as he starts to work Gino over. And he's hanging on to the head in a manner that gives him an opportunity to do something about it. And Gary Hart shouting at ringside, but I don't think that Gino can hear him. Referee Bronco Lubitsch watching. There is the tied up Gary Hart rising to the occasion. And Gino, as he went over the ropes, manages to get himself jerked back into the ring, something he didn't want to happen. And Lewin crowded into the ropes, and Gino was hoping that the referee would break the hold for him. But before Bronco could do something about it, why, he had been pushed out of the range. And Lewin hangs on. Solid grip. He's got a strong arm. Lewin is a powerful individual. A man who punishes himself continuously in the gymnasium, and the side headlock is the hold. For Lewin, exercise pays off. It pays big dividends. He stays in constant condition. Gino is trying to destroy his balance, lifting up one leg and working out. Whoops. And Lewin knew what to do about it that time. So Gino does the crowding and tries to manipulate Lewin into a vulnerable position. He may have done it. Gino is a punisher. When he uncorks, he lets loose with everything he's got, as he is doing right now. Give him an opening and he'll rip that opening a mile wide and work on it with everything he's got. Gino now, as he pounds into Lewin, finds that he didn't pound him enough. And Lewin comes back with the driving force outside. They're moving around behind Gary Hart, but this time Hart is able to do nothing about it. Bronco Lubitsch trying to get him back in the ring. Referee can break things on the floor if he so chooses. Sometimes, though, he's just inviting problems. So Gino, not yet in the ring, is having his troubles on the outside as Mark Lewin measures him for a wearing of that top turnbuckle, and believe me, he's clobbered him down hard on there, and Gino on the outside is stunned and staggered as he maneuvers around the floor. There's that clobber underneath the chin, up against the throat and conference. So Hart is doubly vulnerable as that wild chopping blow of Mark Lewin takes the first fall in this battle.
6 minutes, 5 seconds, Mark Lewin.
And Lewin has done just what people wanted to see him do. And now as he looks at Gary Hart, Hart is defenseless. And Lewin wants to put a foot in Hart's mouth. And there is no mercy to be found among these fans here. They are screaming for Lewin to stomp him and to let him have it. Listen to those fans. They are bloodthirsty for sure as Bronco Lubitsch tries to calm him down. And Hart has simmered down in his seat, just convinced that that is where he's going to stay. As long as that madman is up there, he's not going to give him an opportunity to do anything about it. We'll be back here in a moment, right after we have this word from the studio. Mark Lewin walked back into the ring and chopped away at Gorgeous Gino and knocked him back down to the canvas. Gino was just about to find his way up to his feet. There are 30 seconds remaining in the intermission period between these falls, and the referee looks at Gorgeous Gino to see if he's going to be able to rise. Gino took a tremendous chop on the top of the head, and he's suffering from it right now. Lewin doesn't care how he treats those hands of his. He has strengthened them to a great degree. There's the countdown, and there's the bell. So Lewin starts to move in on Gorgeous Gino, and with Gino shuffling away and trying to back off from Lewin, trying to throw up a smoke screen, trying to find some compassion, but also looking for an opening. And he'd rather have the opening, because if he does find it, he's going to make use of it. And Lewin accepted the target from the rear and pounded. Look at those fans as he screamed for him to lay that blasting wallop right into Gino's head, and he does. So Lewin lays it into Gino Hernandez in a manner that is going to take something out of Gino. It already has been taken out when Gino lost that first fall and was chopped in the head, and Lewin keeps working on that head, pounding down on the top of it for the purpose of making sure that Gino stays that way. And here comes the action into the aisles as Lewin doesn't want Gino to stay out there. And, oh, that ring post never budged an inch. He slammed his head in there. And now Lewin again may make the same mistake he made in their last match. He starts to pay attention to Hart, and Hart is tied up tight, and Hart is unable to do anything about it. Lewin has taken command of this match here, and Gino has been taking an inordinate amount of punishment as Lewin lowers the boom on him. Whoa! Again, he comes over with that driving, solid chop to the top of the head. And again, he knows what he's after. He's keeping Gino from thinking. And on the outside, Hart is not able to do any thinking or any interfering. And the way that chop comes down there, if he had an axe in his hand, he'd split Gino in two. And oh! Gino hung on and swung his legs up. He didn't have to worry about falling. And he kicked him right smack under the chin. Hernandez now with his first opening in his second fall, and he is trying to make the most of it. He's been on the receiving end, and you can just bet that he's been simmering to give some of this punishment to Lewin. Rope snap, and he pulls that head down on that top rope, drives it in there. Lewin trying to shake off the effects of the fists and feet that have been hitting him. He's shaking that head of his and trying to get the cobwebs out, but the cobwebs are being replaced as Gino follows up one wallop after another. And here comes Gino across that ring, and oh, hard problem. There's one, there's two, there's three, and the second fall.
3 minutes, 30 seconds, the winner of the second fall, Gino Hernandez.
The equalizing fall goes to Gorgeous Gino. He stands over in that corner, and you can bet that all of that punishment he's been getting, and particularly that punishment that's been concentrating on the top of his head, is hard to take. So Gino trying to walk off the effects and also get at Mark Lewin if he can. You see him now swinging him through and off onto the concrete. This is what is usually known as the rest period between falls. There is no rest period, and Mark Lewin is splattered on the concrete right here behind us as Gino paces around that ring and tries to come up on him on the opposite side. Gino is bleeding from the constant chops on the top of the head, and he has managed now to lay Mark Lewin on this floor alongside of us. As he gets back in the ring, we tell you we'll be back here in a moment after this word from the studio. Well, the very brief interval between the action had Gino kicking Mark Lewin off the apron and off onto the floor again. And there is Gino, hard to hold, and both men here have requested no disqualifications, and as Lewin is driven halfway up the aisle and onto the concrete, the fans gather around him and watch him closely. Now the count is about to start. There goes Gino Hernandez after Lewin again. You can see where it's taking place. Now Lewin's going to have to get back in that ring. So Lewin's on the floor, and as Hernandez impatiently paces up and down in the ring, there you see Mark. Now you're seeing him for the first time in a long time. He's been down on that floor, and he has been splattered on the canvas. Falls are even. This is the third and deciding fall, as Gino Hernandez, taking full advantage of every opportunity, starts after Lewin even before the Maniac is able to get set. And now Lewin picks up a chair and starts pacing around that ring. He is still woozy. He didn't quite make it over to the steps, and Gino comes around to add to the uncertain condition of Maniac Mark Lewin. And Lewin, complete with chair, wants at Gino Hernandez, and this crowd is screaming. They want to see Lewin do exactly what he did. And the effort now. Oh, man, he came over the top and down. And there are those chops to the top of the head. Up and over and down. And Gino landed like the proverbial ton of bricks. And Mark Lewin is ready now to get back some of the punishment. Whoa, over, and then Gino's foot is hooked. He's in a bad way, and he could break an ankle in this if he doesn't get his head kicked off in the bargain. Solid stomping process, and now Lewin is after it. Watch Gino Hernandez going into his trunks after something, rubbing his hand on his hip here as he goes after Lewin, and Lewin, he ripped his hand across Lewin's face, and Lewin right now looked to me like he ripped that hand across the eyes of Mark Lewin, driving wallop to the top of the head. Lewin, this could be it. Gorgeous.
2 minutes, 41 seconds. The winner of the third fall in the match, Gino Hernandez.
And the crowd gathers around him and starts to wipe his face. He is hollering here alongside of us. He is on the floor alongside of us. He is going up the aisle as Gino Hernandez heads for the dressing room. Mark Lewin is on the floor, and he is in a bad way. There you see him, fans trying to help him, fans trying to give him something. He just poured something in his face, and there he is being helped.